Hello fellow crafters, Janine here, and today I'm going to be showing you how I made this really simple but really cute flip card. It's a sympathy card for a friend of mine who just recently suffered a loss in their family. And these cards are really simple to make, and you know, sometimes when you're sending a card out you don't always know what to say, or maybe it's just a really quick thinking of you card and you just don't have a lot to say. And this is a card that is good for that, because you can see there's not a lot of room here. There's not a lot of pressure to write a lot. You can simply just say thinking of you and sign your name, you know. So if you don't really have a lot to say on a card but you really still want to send a pretty card, this is a great one to send. Most of the products that I used for this card are Stampin' Up products. So I'm going to leave a link for my demonstrator Jason below in the description. He is my Stampin' Up demonstrator and he's great. His customer service is top notch. I feel very good about recommending people to him, or recommending him to people, because he's going to take good care of you, and I know that about him. And he's going to answer any questions you have, and he's going to be friendly and courteous, and I have confidence in that. So give Jason a try if you don't already have a Stampin' Up demonstrator. Again, his information is going to be in the description below. And let me go ahead and show you how I made this card. Okay, the products that I'm going to be using to make this card, first it's going to be this set of dies that I got from Hobby Lobby from Sizzix, and it's set number 66, oh I'm sorry, you can't see that, 660022, and it was supposed to have 21 dies in it, but it did not have all 21s. It didn't have the scallop dies, but that's okay. I've got some circle dies that I can use take the place for the scallop dies, so it's no biggie. But I'm not going to be using the Get Well because this is going to be a sympathy card. From Stampin' Up, which is pretty much just about the rest of the products I'm going to use, I'm going to be using a couple of stamps from the Simply Sketched stamp set. And oh, by the way, I'll put in an iCard in right about here with the haul for where I got the Sizzix dies, and then I'll put a haul or video, right, I'm sorry, an iCard, I can't talk today, right about here with the haul where I got these stamps. And in yet another haul video, I'll show you where I got these Stampin' Up papers, and they're just beautiful. I love them. So the it's gonna actually be two hauls, one where I got the papers and then another one where I got the cardstock. So again, look for an iCard right about here and you'll see those haul videos there. And then I'm going to use a Stampin' Spot from Stampin' Up in Night of Navy. So everything's going to coordinate so beautifully, because this pattern paper, designer series paper rather, features the Night of Navy and Whisper White, and then I'm using the Night of Navy and Whisper White cardstocks to go with it. So everything is going to coordinate beautifully. But the first thing I need to do is get my card base cut out. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to trim this paper down. So I'm going to pause the video real quick while I just, you don't need to watch me trim paper. I'm pretty sure you know how to trim paper. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this paper out so that it will fit through my Evolution Advanced die cutting machine. Okay, so I've got everything cut down to a size that will go through my die cutting machine. So I'm going to need to get the card base die. And it not only cuts, but it also scores so that everything will fold properly. And since my dies have to go through the machine like this, which makes it so I can't see what's going on underneath, I am going to put it at an angle so that it's not going through my machine straight on. And I am going to get a little bit of masking tape, and what I'm going to do is just kind of put it on my blue jeans to get some of the stickiness up so that it doesn't tear my cardstock, which this masking tape does have a tendency to do. That takes some of the stickiness out of it. I just don't have any washi tape handy, because that's pretty good for getting the stickiness out also. Okay, and then I need to, you don't have to use extra pattern paper on your card, but I like to. So I like to look at the picture and make sure I'm cutting everything out properly. So the card is going to, okay, so this is where we're going to be putting the pattern paper, on this side and on this side. So that's important to note, because you want to make sure, if the paper you're cutting out has a directionality, you want to make sure that you put the die in the proper direction on your pattern paper. So now I've got to make a decision. So you're going to be cutting 3 pieces or 4 pieces, depending on what you want to do. And this is 2-sided paper, so I can actually use both sides. So I think I'm going to cut the lighter sides for the outside, and maybe one darker circle piece for the, to put behind the, you'll see. Anyway, I think I'm going to use the lighter sides for this, for these pieces, and I'm going to use the darker sides for these pieces, for the circle pieces. Alright, there is our second piece. Now I need to cut all of the circle pieces out. So that's going to be about as much fun as watching paint dry. So I'm going to pause you guys while I cut all the circle pieces out. But all I'm going to do is cut a larger circle in the pattern paper, large enough that, you know, that small enough that it'll fit inside of here. I can't think. I just can't think of my words today. They're just not coming to me. Okay, let's see. So I think, was it these two? No, that one's too big. I'm worried that the stamp that I chose is going to be too big for this space, so I might end up having to use a different stamp. But that one looks good for the outside piece, and I need one a little smaller. And I think I had one in between, but I've lost it. So frustrating. Because I think that, yeah, I think the stamp I chose is too big. That's okay. I've got plenty of stamps. I can find one to work. Okay, so those are the 2 sizes I'm going to use. Wish I had measurements on them, but they don't. So I'm going to cut a pattern piece out of this die, and then a smaller piece out of just the Whisper White cardstock for this one. So I'm going to do that and go ahead and pause the video and come back. Okay, so I decided to change directions since the Simply Sketched, the flower from the Simply Sketch set simply wasn't going to work. But I like this. This is a stamp set that came in a paper pumpkin kit, and I really like it. I like the painterly look of it. So that's what I'm going to use, is the bigger flower from that. So I just pulled out a couple of pieces of fun foam for a little cushion while I stamp. I'll get a better impression like that. So I'm going to go ahead and place my stamp. I think I was going to use the Night of Navy to stamp the flower, but I think I'm going to use this Memento Dandelion. And you notice I'm stamping before I put anything together, so that way if I don't get a clean impression, I don't have to recut, you know, the pattern paper also. I'll just have to recut cardstock. So let me see how this looks. I mean, I like it. Let me go ahead and I'm going to do it on the other side. So this is why you stamp before you put everything together, and I had to learn that the hard way. I mean, I'm sure some of you are watching going, well, that's perfectly common sense, Janine. Well, it probably is, but to me it wasn't necessarily. So I'm going to try and center this as good as possible, but it doesn't have to be perfect. I know you guys are probably saying, God, you're using these colors in this stamp set again, but I love it. This is my favorite color combination. I really love that blue, white, and yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off, and I'm going to put this stamp set on, but I'm not going to ink all of these little things because it's kind of a bit much. I'm just going to do the 3 on this edge. So I'm just being careful how I ink it to only ink those 3 little pieces there of the flower center. And let it sit for just a second so that the ink transfers. Alright, that looks perfect. I am very pleased. So I'm going to go ahead, and you'll see why. I mean, I know it seems like a lot of pattern and it seems really busy, but once you put this on top of this, you lose a lot of that pattern, so you really just pick up color. So that's why I was really okay with that. So let me go ahead and put these together. I think I'm going to pop this up. That just hit me that I wanted to do that. So let me get some dimensionals so I can make that happen. I'll go ahead and use my Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. Whoa. Didn't need all of them. And I probably use way more than I need, but I just like to make sure everything's put together well. Learn this little trick from May using your Stampin' Block to tear your tape, so it's a fairly even tear. Pretty neat, you know. I don't like things real sloppy. There we go. That one's a little crooked. Okay, so now for the inside piece. And again, I'm going to use the dark side. Before I do that, I'm going to take a look at this sentiment again. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay, if I place it high, then I'll still have just barely enough room to assign our names to the card. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Now, don't misunderstand. I absolutely could have left the flower off the front and done the With Sympathy on the front, and then I would have had the entire circle piece on the inside to write a note on. I just like bringing that pop of color to the front of the card. I feel like it made it a little bit more visually interesting. So let me go ahead and stamp. This time I'm going to use the Night of Navy. There we have it, a very simple card utilizing die cuts, pattern paper. It's a lot of fun, it's simple, but has great visual impact. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you visiting Janine's Craft Room for yet another tutorial. I hope you're enjoying all the card making I'm doing. I love card making. It's one of my favorite crafts to do. But if you're enjoying this, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. But also, if you would, share these videos on your social media, on your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or whatever other sort of social media you're doing. Because when you share those and we get more views on them, it really helps my channel to grow, and it helps to support me to continue bringing these crafts to you. As always, I appreciate you guys, and y'all have a very blessed day. Bye now.